Hey, so I took Isis Wisdom mediumship class, and I just wanted to do a review on it. So if you don't already know, I am on a journey towards evolution and looking to change my reality, and also really looking to cleanse myself so that I can be the best version of me and ultimately help others be the best version of them at the same time. So, anyway, I'm on a journey of evolution, and I've been watching Isis Wisdom on and off for like since sometime when the, you know, 2020 or somewhere in that time frame. And so I finally had the opportunity to take one of her classes, because this one was $44.44, and most of her classes be like $100 something. So I took this one. I took full advantage of this. Okay. And so first of all, in some of her videos, you'll find that she has a more aggressive personality, especially like the older ones. And that's not a bad thing. It just is what it is. Like, she has a much more forceful vibe. But in this particular class, it was a very sweet version of her, which I did appreciate. I can appreciate all sides, and it was a nice, like, wow, okay, like she was smiling from ear to ear. It was a very, very touching experience. And so I didn't really know what to expect from this class, because I've never taken a class like that. I've never taken a mediumship class. Recently, I took Billy Carson's remote viewing class, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm in the ancient Egyptian mystery school, like learning that as well. So, I can appreciate when beings will share what they know. And so I took this class, and I was like, okay, I didn't have any expectations, because I didn't really know, at all what to expect. I barely like recognize fully what a medium is. So I was like, you know what? Let me just do it and see what happens. And like I know what people say a medium is, but in terms of what it actually is, I was like unclear of the full practical experience of that, if that makes sense. And so I took the class, and it was a very unique experience, and a very tranquil and peaceful experience. And my aim is to live a peaceful, tranquil experience. Like, that's my goal. Just peace, tranquility, and flow. That's where I'm growing towards. And I have attained a level of consistent peace, and I know that I can be better. And every day, in every way, I get better, and better. And that might be a phrase you might want to adopt. Every day, in every way, I get better, and better. I got that from this book, and I'm actually going to do a book review on this and talk about how it just kind of found me. And so I'm almost finished. This is a really great book called How to Benefit from Stress. I'll show you what I'm gonna get. All right, this is a good book. So, anyway, I thought that the class was very, very informative and very relaxing, and it was unique because she didn't have a presentation. It wasn't like she had I don't even know if she had notes, to be quite frank, but I know for a fact she didn't have a presentation out. There was no slideshow. It was very just like an organic, it felt more like I don't know how to, no, I do know how to explain it. It didn't feel like a class to me. It felt like a seminar, but like a TED talk. It felt more like a TED talk of them. So it didn't feel like her goal was for us to learn something specific. Her goal was for us to learn something based on what we hear, because the lesson and what it seems like her energy flow is based on is very much like make your own energy and very much interpret your own thought. So that's what it seemed like to me. Like her vibe just gives off very much organic chaos, but not in a very orderly way. Like a food forest versus a garden. Like everything is where it's supposed to be, but to the naked eye, it could seem a bit, scattered. But it's so pure and beautiful because I personally want a food forest just because that's my vibe too, like very much like this and like this instead of like this. But beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And like there's some people like, and I'm not saying good or bad, but some people really like, good morning, you're up early. Oh, okay. Some people really like manicured lawns, but I really like really, really tall grass. And like, I really like when the wildflowers just kind of intertwine versus really short grass. And it just, to me, it just looks more, it's prettier when it's wilder. So I think like her vibe, Isis Wisdom's vibe, really gives me that. It really gave me that. So I really, really enjoyed the class. I thought it was very pure. And I felt cleansed. And I even, at one point, I started tearing up. But I didn't cry. And for those of you who like really know me, in my previous existence, I was crying all the time, like I would cry like that. And now though, I cry, but it's like quick, So I did like, look away and gather myself a couple of times during that session, which is just flat out true. But I can appreciate an experience where we feel safe enough to cry. That's a very rare experience. And it's becoming less and less and less rare, but it's a much, it's something that was a welcome surprise for the energy of the experience. And, I'm not really going to go too heavy on, what she really broke down, because I just feel like that's disrespectful. If you weren't in the class, you didn't experience it. So perhaps like go experience it for yourself. Just like if I were to, like when I do book reviews, I'm not going to tell you exactly what happened in the book because that would take away from your experience. So I think it's disrespectful and it's selfish for me to do that. So I'm not going to. But what I will do is share a few ideas that I got from the class that I think, could be valuable without giving away anything for either party, for her, for the integrity of her space, and for the integrity of your experience as well. And for my own good too, okay? Let's keep it a full band. All right, so one thing that I've noticed that continues to follow through any practice is the idea of being present and staying in the moment. And it seems that most of the power that you have is the intent of being in whatever moment you're in. And it's easier to stay level set when you're in the moment that you're currently in. And that's the only space you can react to for the most part. So a lot of things is like be present and specifically not worrying about the past or the future, not worrying at all, just being very much at ease, like ease on down the road. And then dis-ease, disease, dis-ease, this this book does a very good job of correlating dis-ease and disease. And if you're more on the, if you like musical things as well, The Wiz does a very good job as well of talking about dis-ease. And I'm actually on a path to break down and really understand what the Wonderful World of Oz, that was the first book, really wanting to understand what that book means. And though I am a creative being, so when are we gonna get back on that? You know, when I feel called to, and perhaps it's gonna be soon because I'm feeling interested. Okay, but not worrying about the past and not reliving it. And something that I have implemented in my experience is anytime I'm visited by a thought or an idea or something that's negative from the past, I just keep saying, I forgive myself, I forgive you, I forgive myself, I forgive you, I forgive myself, I forgive you. And I when I say myself, I point the intention to myself. And when I say you, I forgive that entire thought. And depending on how long it takes or what energy it feels like, sometimes I'll say I forgive myself to that one person, or I'll forgive myself to any person involved. And then I forgive me. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. And I just keep saying it until the memory or thought pattern dissolves. And this, out of every other method I've done, works the best for me, because I've tried to just say, no, get out of here. I tried someone else's thing of thank you, and that just made stuff worse to me. And then I tried someone else's method, and it just wasn't working. So eventually I was like, you know what, let me just try this. I forgive you. I forgive you. And for me, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive me. That has been the most calming, most soothing, and most effective way for me to get out of negative thought patterns. So yeah, another thing that I would highlight is that it's very, okay, this is the second thing, because this is like one of those universal concepts, but something that she did a very nice job of expanding on, is the idea that people, we need to continue to focus on ourselves. So be present and focus on yourself and have your own experience, you know, because just like I had to formulate and discover the best way for me to eliminate negative thought forms and thought patterns from my mind and my experience, my best thing is I forgive you. Some other people's best things might be something else. So it's a good idea to have our own ways of interpreting principles, concepts, and ideas. You know what I mean? It's important that we take our own path, because what works for one person might not work for someone else. Just like hair, you can have the same parents and have completely different hair textures. I know these sisters, and one of them has like really like 4Z hair. It's also because they didn't know how to take care of it and used to put baby oil in her hair, so there's that. But she had this like really 4Z thick hair, and her sister had, I'm not even lying, like 2C hair. So you can imagine what the experience was hair-wise in that type of situation. Like even just mentally for her, what she probably experienced because of her sister's hair type. And you know, I'm just being real, because we weren't really taught to appreciate the thicker, kinkier hairs back then. So I can just imagine what she experienced in contrast. So it would be interesting. But anyway, yeah, it's like just be present and be yourself. Be present and make your own way. So use what other people say as a template for you to design your own path. You're not for you to follow and become that person, your version of them. No, it's for you to discover your version of yourself. So, would highly recommend Isis Wisdom's class. I think it was a really great experience, and I will be taking some more. Okay, and part of me is like, you know what, dang, I done made this video. What if someone else watches, and what if they join the class and then there's no space for me? But then what happened in this class that I thought was like, wow, this shows her character. She had the Zoom, and I was observing to see what would happen. She had the Pro on Zoom, and the Pro has a limitation of 100, and she thought that you could have more people on there, and she didn't know how many people are going to be on this thing, this live. And I was sitting there like, I was like, ain't it 100? I was thinking, but I was like, you know what, maybe I'm tripping. And so I was like, you know, let's just, you know, let me see what happens. And I was just waiting, playing a game on my phone, then breathing and stuff until the live. And I was like, dang, like, this is taking a long time, because first class was supposed to start at 1, and the class started at 1:30. So I was like, dang, G. And I had something to do. But the good thing is everything worked out, you know, still had a great time. But, you know, that's something to consider as well. Like, if you it's what happened, it's something to consider. But it does show her character, because there were a lot of people that didn't get on, and you would have to increase the subscription to go from Pro, where you can have up to 100 people, or to business mode, where you can have, I think it's like 300 or something like that. You could have more. They'd be getting, because you would think with like a paid subscription, you wouldn't necessarily have a cap on it. Just like with like some paid subscription services, they still have commercials. It's like, isn't the point of me paying the subscription fees so that I don't have to watch commercials? It's weird. So anyway, I'm for real though. Like, isn't the whole purpose of the subscription so I don't have to experience commercials? But whatever. Because then, like, for real, what's the point of a subscription? Like, why have a subscription if I have to pay for the commercials? That's just strange. Or if I still have to watch commercials. Okay, back to it. So, it was, because, like, for real, okay, stop. It was, so the class was supposed to be, like, supposed to start at 1, and it started at 1:30. And she had to pay a subscription so that the other people could do the class. And so I was like, you know, why not? Like, I would have been like, just look, we had the cap, you know, and because I didn't know if you change it at that time, you know, I was like, you know what, we had the cap, maybe just have another one and they could come back. But instead, she figured it out, and people who were like probably panicking, like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to be in this class, they ended up being able to be in the class. So that's because I'm not a mom, so that's why I would have been like, oh well, you missed it, oh well, you know. I'll do another one, like, I don't know what to tell you. But as a true mother would do, she was like, you know what, these babies gonna get in this class. And she figured it out. So honestly, like, I can't help but respect that, you know. And since I have a great mother in my experience, thankfully, I can recognize when someone else is a great mother, because that's what my mom would have done. She would have been, my baby's gonna get this, okay? I don't care what I have to do. They gonna get this right now, because she knows that there's some babies out there who were panicking, like, or she knows that she set a commitment and she wanted to honor it. So that taught me a lesson, and it taught me some, you know, patience as well. Because I was like, dang, like, because I got there 5 minutes early. Okay, I set the alarm, and I was like, I was in there before it even opened up, because I was gonna get me a seat. But she didn't even know it was going to be that many people. And I didn't even know either. And so I was calculating too. And I was like, dang, okay, this class was $44.44. And this amount of people were in it. And so how much is that? And so I calculated, and I was like, dang, because it's really, really inspiring. Because, and I would love, if you're watching this, Isis, I would love to interview you. I really would. Because you're just such a vibe. And I have so many questions about how you became who you are, where you came from, because she's mentioned that she used to work at a nursing home, and just speaking on how things work out. But she was speaking on, like, she used to work at a nursing home, and now, from my understanding, she has like a house in Tulum and one in where she lives in the U.S. and multiple businesses, and gets to live her life and do her craft and do what she loves. And Billy Carson is another good example of that. And Brother Panic is another good example of that, even though he's since transitioned. That he's a very interesting, outrageous personality that I recently just discovered. Jesse Lee Peterson. I would love to interview him too, to be honest. You know, I don't agree with everything he says, but I don't agree with everything anyone says. You know, but I can still appreciate a dynamic presence when I see one, regardless. And so, anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of beings who are just living their true, authentic selves. So it can't be impossible. And the number continues to grow. So it just shows me the real level of possibility that there is when you know, not even if is not appropriate for this. When you know, and when you do, and when you are, then you have. You know, I am still growing into this understanding, to be honest. So I don't know, but that's what it seems like. So all that to say, I would recommend taking Isis Wisdom's mediumship class or any other class that she has. Whatever calls to you, whatever feels right. Like, you know, I would recommend like watching some of her lives and just like seeing if it resonates. And for me, it's all about like, if it resonates, it resonates. You know, if it resonates, it resonates. If not, go do something else. All right, guys, let me know if you took the class too, like, what did you think about it? Or if you've taken any of her other classes, you know, because one thing about it, and two things for sure, she definitely deserves the audience. And if more people have access to this type of wisdom and this type of know-how, then we will, as a collective, have a different experience. So, you know, I do hope that some people go take the class and just support her in any way that you can, because we have to be the change that we want to see in the collective. And the way to do that is by learning how to do that, learning how to impact yourself so that you can reflect back into the experience. So that being said, please like this video so more people can see this and more people can support myself as well, and more people can support Isis Wisdoms. And comment below if you have something that you want people to support you for as well, because the more that we can support each other, the more that we can support what we want to see in this existence. I'm learning how to evolve past competition. I'm learning how to evolve past lack and feeling like there's not enough, and like if someone gets some, it's not going to be any for me. I'm learning to evolve past that, and every day in every way I get better and better. And I can admit and be okay with the fact that there are things that I can evolve past. Because if you're not evolving past something, what are you doing? That's for you to ask yourself. All right. I'll see you later.